All right, we're connecting, and here we are with Dunni Dayo-Kayode, who has done an interview before, but it was a different interview. That one, he was more talking about, for him, his evolution, getting started on his dreams and goals in life. Today, he's back to talk about what the word care means in his life. So, Dunni, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, good. So in the past couple of weeks, we've done a lot of stuff, and I think most people probably know about it already. Some of it is showing up because they're part of what you've helped out with, and of course, we're talking about Elias's hackathon,
Yeah.
FHS Hacks, going on right now, very successfully. And part of this is, you helped out in some ways in the background because this is his event, and so I wanted to kind of get your perspective on what that was like.
To be honest, it wasn't. I didn't expect to be a part of it, but being a part of it, I was talking to my brother yesterday. I was just because I got a bunch of people asking me questions and stuff about the hackathon yesterday, and I was like, it feels so weird now, because before, normally I'm on the other hand asking the questions, and now I'm the one being asked the question. It's kind of weird, being in charge of something like this big and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been fun, getting to know him, getting to know his skill sets. He has pretty wide range of skill sets, which I think is pretty cool for
Yeah.
freshmen in college. So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah. And one of the really interesting things is also that, for you being in high school, this is also your first time creating a hackathon or
Yeah,
doing anything on that scale. So beyond helping with FHS hacks, you're also coming up with color hacks in 2 weekends. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
Excited.
a lot of effort. So I guess we are here to talk about what the word care means to you in your life. Would you say a lot of what you're doing is because you care about people, or does it come from something else?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Cause I do care about having cause yesterday I told Elias I was like, dude, I did all my homework on Friday, so I'm all yours. Just kind of like whatever you need, just hit me up. So I think it's a bit of me just caring about making sure his stuff goes well, and also making sure the community enjoys what's going on. So yeah, I think care does have a good role play in that.
Yeah, yeah. And you've told me before that a lot of this comes from, you want to do stuff that you couldn't
Yeah,
do. Go ahead and
yeah.
describe that a bit.
Yeah, so essentially, I have a brother who's he's currently graduated from high school. I mean, from college. He has his own life now. He's doing companies and stuff like that. But back in high school, he'll go to hackathon and stuff. And he'll bring back these cool prizes and swags that he'll win. I'm like, dude, I want to go, but the sad part was I was too young. I just turned 16 a few months, less than half a year ago, and I was too young, but he was like, why not just make one for yourself then if you're not able to go to one? And yeah, that was kind of the whole idea behind it. Also I go to all these, like I said in the previous interview, I go to all these different selective programs and stuff like that. And it wasn't necessarily the diversity inclusion wasn't present there. So my brother was like, why not just make one that increase diversity inclusion in the tech world? So that's basically the origin of color hats.
All right, all right. So a lot of it was you felt like you needed something for yourself, but
Yeah,
then, hey, let's take care of other people.
yeah, for sure.
And obviously, that story that you told, it's clear that your brother has played a big role in your life, and it's really interesting because you have a pretty big age gap. But even
Yeah.
then, it's clear that he cares about you. You care about him. Uh, do you mind telling us a little bit more?
So I mean, I feel like the reason why we're so close is he's the second to last born and I'm the last born. So when everyone already went to college, it was just me and him back home. So we were the only two that would relate to each other. So it's where all the closest came with, and we had a lot of common interests and stuff. We're both interested in tech. There's the same sports and stuff like that. So it's just based off I feel like that when me and him release the age gap just disappears in the thin air. It's just like we're just two dudes just chilling, just talking about life and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. Of course, every now and then he says something like,
Well,
"Yeah, I was in the
obviously.
dorms," or "Yeah, I had this investor come." You're like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, clearly, like you said, usually your conversations is just two dudes chilling, just
Yeah. Yeah.
just like, yeah, you're
Oh, no,
you,
yeah.
I'm me. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So I guess some of the highlights for you in the past, I would say 2 months or so that we've known each other. obviously getting color hacks, publicizing it, getting off the ground, uh, accidentally hopping on board with FHS hacks, but then also being able to play a
Yeah.
prominent role in helping lead the community and all that. Obviously, as we shift our attention, not prematurely, but quick peek into color
Yeah.
hacks coming up. For you, you've already lined up the Obama Youth Job Corps in
Yeah.
support of this.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Uh, I feel like it was kind of like a prelude to the other excitement that I got the past week or so. So like, getting the Obama Youth Corps, like I feel like it was really great, like all thanks to you, obviously. And it was like, because like with this hackathon thing, like I didn't like it was overwhelming to think about all the different factors that will come into play, and like having someone like you like support me and like bringing all these different factors I never really would have thought of, I never really wouldn't have had if I hadn't been able to connect with you, and like it's just been really great to be honest. And just like the connections I've gotten over like the past like month or less than a month, it's just been crazy. Just like every time I like sit down this thing, I was like, damn, dude, like wow, it's crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, you have to thank yourself a lot because you
Oh
also
yeah,
have
yeah,
gotten some great connections from your brother.
yeah.
But in the end, a lot of this is because you took his advice when he said, make one yourself. And you said, all right,
Yeah.
here's Color Hacks, which I'm still amazed that domain was
Oh
available.
yeah,
That hackathon
bro,
name,
we said the exact same thing. We said the
yeah. And it's
exact
like,
same
oh, okay, well, this kid wants to do Color Hacks and that name exists. Okay.
thing. Yeah,
But like I said, you have yourself to thank a lot because it's because of your effort that these people are willing to connect with you through us. And
yeah.
obviously, for you being in Chicago, growing up with the same kids that the Obama Youth Job Corps supports,
Mm-hmm.
your peers. Obviously that plays a good role as well because then they can say, okay, here's one of us doing something for one of us, for all of us.
Yeah,
So definitely you got to think yourself as well.
for
So
sure.
I kind of want to dig a little deeper here though. Um, most high school students are just struggling to stay afloat with just the massive amounts of homework
Mm-hmm.
that everyone piles on you. And on top of that, you have to do so many things to even get looked at by colleges. Um, and the first time I met you, you didn't say, I want to go to college or it'd be nice if I get in somewhere. You said straight up, I'm going to get into Stanford, but first I'm going to defer a couple years and then go to campus. And I'm
You
thinking,
ain't
wait,
gotta
wait,
do
wait,
what you
wait.
gotta do.
Right. But that's the thing. Where did that mentality come from? As it's kind of like LeVar Ball saying, speak it into existence. And you're saying, what do you mean speak it into existence? It already exists. It just hasn't happened yet. Like I feel like that's your mindset. Like for you, it's just a
Yeah, so
given.
yeah, yeah. So basically, like I said in previous interviews, or like my dad has been someone who's like he's instilled like this type of like mindset in me that like you can do what you want as long as you just put in the time, put in the work, and like you're determined to do it. So like everybody talk about like, oh, I wish I could go to Stanford. I'm just like, dude, like you can work hard enough to get to Stanford. Like that's the work I've been putting in over the past couple of years, and also like having like two brothers beside me who are like always there, and like if I need support, like they're always there, and they always like push me. Because like the thing is like being 16 and the closest brother to you is like 22. Like you don't want to lose. Like you're basically like imagine a 16-year-old trying to be like a 22-year-old person. So it's basically kind of how I am because like I'm constantly competing with my brother and like trying to be as good or even better than them. So like it kind of
Right.
puts me at like this like head start compared to like my peers and stuff like that. So I feel like that's where that mindset came in because like we're very competitive. Not gonna lie, we're very competitive.
Well, who else was like that? Kobe. He signed
Yep.
his contract, his first contract. His parents had to sign for him because he wasn't 18 yet. So yeah, and I think clearly, you didn't use the word care, but that's the definition of caring. You care about yourself, you
Yeah.
care about your future, you care about your relationships, a bit of competing against your brother, but you're also doing it in a way where you care about others
Yeah.
and you're making sure that everyone is able to get a bit of what they want. So
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the really interesting things as a result of that is you're now, you're part of two hackathons for high school students plus the HBCU hackathon for the
Yeah.
Civic Code. And, have connected with people that you could not have imagined, didn't
Yeah,
expect.
for sure.
But in the end, despite all that, you're still you're still just Dunni in the sense of, your friends, the ones you grew up
Mm-hmm.
with, you're still in touch with them. It's like you still live near each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine that some of the texts I get from you, stuff like the broken chair, I imagine they probably got that first, and they probably got a
Yeah,
lot
for
of people
sure.
first, right? So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
guess do you mind describing a bit your relationship with some of those friends?
So my friends, they kind of seem like, okay, it's just like I have different moods and like different yeah, I just have different moods when it comes to like certain situations. Like for example, like over this past few months, because like I've been like trying to grind and like get this color hack thing like started and all this other stuff. Like I've been kind of distant. Like I haven't really been talking to them that much. I haven't been getting in the game that much. I've just been like strictly on my laptop, like literally sitting in the chair for like 14 hours a day. Hence why I work. But
Yeah.
apart from that, like I'm hella chill. Like I'm really goofy and like my friends catch me lacking a lot of times. They have a lot of pictures of me acting goofy. It's just like, but like, yeah, I'm pretty chill with my friends. It's just like I'm just relaxed. Like I try not to take things like too serious and just like YOLO sometimes. You know? So, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because we're aware that some of the Color Hacks teammates, sometimes it kind of seems like they'd rather not work with you. It's like, nah, we're just gonna text us about him. We're gonna crack jokes about him, and you're just like, what? And of course, they all love you. They're always like, oh, we're
yeah,
just messing with you. But sometimes they act like, oh yeah, Scotty Duty actually doesn't know what's going on. We did the work, but then Um, but yeah, I think yeah, it's pretty funny when we have those team meetings, and
yeah.
uh, the one with Troy Polamalu here, his name will be unspoken. He randomly is able to say, "Hey guys, let me show you something real quick. It's really important," and it's a picture of you from when you were 13 or
God.
something.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah, and of course the other one, Darren. Uh, he's often
He's a
and
little
checking
shy.
in as well, but the other one with that glorious hair is just
Glorious.
and the best part is when I said, "Hey, have you thought about being a comedian?" And you're like, "Nah, he sucks at that."
Yeah, I mean, you
And it's like,
gotta,
"Well, I don't know, man. I think you're laughing too."
you gotta make sure it doesn't get too big of a head.
We'll go ahead and mention his name, Kobe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cause you distress, Dooney, but I think it's important to recognize people by their names. So clearly, Colby and Darren have been a big part of
Yeah.
your life, and they
Yeah.
care about you, you care about
For
them, and
sure.
I think it's
Yeah.
clear that obviously not just those two, but your relationships, people taking care of each other is a big reason
Mhm.
why you're able to say, "I want to go take care of others." I think it's very much the definition of it takes a village to raise a child.
Mhm.
So, um, something I kind of want to touch on, a bit unrelated to all this, is so for you, you go to the Chicago Math and Science Academy,
Yeah.
and you know, you hear that name, you can just tell, all right, that's one of those STEM schools. It's one of those
Yeah.
schools
It
that
is.
if you're getting into somewhere like Stanford, Duke, Harvard, MIT, they're probably come from that kind of school most of the time.
Mhm.
And despite all of that, you also put a lot of time and effort into basketball, where I believe you said you play shooting guard.
Yes.
And okay. And you're also, I think you started the esports league for your school as well, right?
Yep. Like about yeah. I started the fall. Yep. Over the fall.
All right. So I'll go and say for older generations, we would be thinking, how do you do both? Not in the sense of how do you have the time, but
Hmm.
how are you interested in both? Because we mostly grew up with you're either one or the other.
Yeah.
Obviously, your generation is a bit more of, hey, let's do
Doing
both, right?
things. Yeah.
So for you, the question, as opposed to what most people would say, my question is, how do you do both with the time you have? Because you also have to do schoolwork and all that.
Yeah. 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 So it's just like it's like the saying like if you love something you make the time for it. So like something that's kind of been instilled into me like from a kid like I told you about like me and my mom like having to like study for the SSAT when I was practicing and the ACTs as well. Um,
Yeah.
I just been like really I've been like really good with like setting my priorities straight over the years and like making sure my time management is key. So like I wake up 5 a.m., do whatever I need to do, go to school, come back, like make sure like I try not to get on my phone as much and like I just get my work done and like whatever I need. And like the things are like thing about myself is like also having two laptops helps a lot because like while I'm waiting for this laptop to load, I'm already doing this other stuff on my laptop. And while this one is loaded, I'm just getting on this. So it's just a lot of multitasking, just like making sure I'm getting everything done. Like even though like it is stressful, but like I don't know, I just like the thrill of the stress, if that makes sense. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one thing to point out is that one of your laptops is really, really old.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so depending on which one's booting up at the time, sometimes we're a bit of all right, we're waiting for Dunni. Well, let's just get started. We'll catch him up in a bit because his laptop's going to take a year or something. But no, in all seriousness, I think it's really amazing that what you do is I have two laptops and work until they run out of battery. I don't plug them in, and your mindset that forces you to stay productive and get stuff
Yeah.
done when you're working, as opposed to, oh yeah, let me be plugged in and just waste my time. But then obviously that means you're more efficient, you get stuff done, and then you still have time to get roasted by Kobe. And I think obviously Kobe and Darren, they got a lot of stuff going on too. Because
Yeah.
I remember texting Kobe and he had to reschedule a couple of things with me because of SAT tutoring.
Yeah.
And clearly, uh, you know, for your generation, there's a lot of competition going on, and you guys handle it pretty well. And I think um, it's one of those things where I look at how I was your age, and it's February for your junior year. This is about when I first started thinking about creating a basketball league in the summer. And that's the one that I had a lot of inner city youth come in and join. And from there, that was when I first realized, wait, I have a shot at getting into a top school. Not just uh, you know, not just the top schools that most people think about, but I could actually go anywhere I want.
Yeah.
And it was still a few more months before I realized, oh wait, the school I want to go is Duke. But I think one of the really amazing things to me is that one reason why I didn't start thinking about it until February is I was kind of thinking about what do I do for the summer. You're thinking, what can I do right away during the
Yeah.
school year?
Yeah. So,
So,
go ahead.
oh, sorry, you go ahead. I thought
Oh,
you were gonna say something.
so basically, like I mean, it all relates to, like what I want to do in the future. It's kind of like right, like what I do, like what I plan on doing, like right now. It's kind of like just setting up the building blocks and setting up the foundation for what I want to do in the future. Because like my brother tells me, like there's this thing that my brother told me that just really stuck with me for a while. It's like do 80% of like, okay, let's say there's 100% of things you want to do. Do 80% right now when you're young, you have nothing to lose. You're not taking care of anybody. You just taking care of yourself. And then 20% when you're older, when you're like you have to put in less effort, and that's when you're tired and stuff like that. So like that's basically what I'm doing right now, putting as much work as I can right now. So when it gets to that stage, I can just relax and just like still get work done and still be getting my steady income, but like it's just not as hard work as it is right now.
Yeah, yeah. And I would
Yeah.
like to point out one reason why that's good advice, beyond being good in general, is
Mm-hmm.
you probably had no idea what it's like when you're older and then you're waking up after 2 3 hours of sleep after multiple days, and you got to take naps every few hours. Because I remember at 16, I could stay up. I mean, obviously I didn't, but I could stay up for a long time. And because I got usually at least 6 hours of sleep a night, and then um, you know, I never needed quite as much as most people. Most people would need 8. I could get by on 6 just fine, as well as they could get by on 8. So that was definitely an advantage for me. But one thing was, I could play basketball all day, do a track meet, still
Yeah.
have all this time or all this energy to do all this stuff and recover almost immediately. And I think that's one of those things when people talk about getting their second wind in the middle of a game. That's because all you did was just a quick 2-minute timeout and your body recharged already without going to sleep. And
Yeah.
obviously you're taking a lot of advantage of that. Because I would say, I can't quite do the same. If I do something in the morning, then I can recharge and by the afternoon still do stuff. But it's no longer, unfortunately for me, it's no longer. Then we call a quick 2-minute timeout. All right, I'm good to go again. So
Yeah.
it's great that you're taking advantage of all that. So let's dig in a little deeper. The stuff you've been talking about. You're talking about also playing basketball. What's that like for you?
Uh, it's fun. That's literally it. It's just fun and just do it. I feel like one of like the biggest challenges I've like had to face playing basketball is like my freshman year. Like I'm not gonna lie, my basketball skills were questionable. And then imagine going from and then over the summer during freshman, I put in like hella work, into getting better. Like so, imagine a freshman whose basketball skills was questionable, and then going to sophomore year, I'm starting on varsity. I'm just like, wait, what? So like it was like kind of like scary, like kind of like having to face all these like guys who are 6'4", 6'5", like literally I turn around to find out I'm getting dunked on. Like I can barely get a rebound. Like all I do is just call for screens and just like ISO or like shoot the ball whenever I get the chance. But like basketball just been fun. Like it's just something I use like relax like my mind for things, and I'm scared or when I'm like stressed or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, we know with your height going up against the 6'4" guys, and every now and then you have a giant. Allen Iverson was a lot like that, and that's why
Yeah.
we still remember him as a legend. And I know a lot of people talk about his whole rant about practice, but his whole point was, I had to do so much during the games, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one of those things where a lot of basketball players can take a lot of inspiration from how he played, is his absolute fearlessness.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously the taller players don't like it when we start channeling that inner AI, because then it's like, oh man, I gotta deal with that. It's like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, until I'm your height, I gotta be AI. So, if I
Yeah.
can't be Kobe, at least I can be AI, right?
Yeah.
So, I think one of the really cool things is, for me, every time I talk about how I played as a shooting guard, becoming a combo guard, learning how to play point guard, but then being able to defend any position despite, there's taller guys. I'm only 5'11", but I can still post them up, or I guess not post them up, but I can prevent them from posting me up
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
I've been joking that lately, don't get a new chair, just do air sits, eternal air sits, just squat at your desk the whole day. And some of it is because, I always develop my legs so I could force bigger, taller players out of the
Yeah.
paint. And if they can't get positioned, they can't get started. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, for me to be able to talk about that and then talk about, I'm going to run full court press all day nonstop. I'm not going to be chattering in your face, but I'm going to be in your face 94
Yeah.
feet, 40 minutes a game. And obviously, that's terrifying because like, what? Let me get to the half court line. No, because then I got to go further to score on you. Let me get the ball right here next to my basket. So I think for me, a lot of that intensity, that even now I still feel that same intensity. I can sense that from you,
Yeah.
even when we're just chilling on Zoom, not really doing anything physical. And
Yeah.
um, I would say, obviously, most of the time we talk about basketball, it's on offense, but I can tell
Mm-hmm.
that you pride yourself on defense as much as you do
Yeah. For
on
sure.
offense.
For
So
sure. For sure.
yeah, yeah, because we've talked about the games where oh yeah, I only scored this many points, but he didn't touch the ball at all. It's like, well, you erased an entire player. We talk about erasing a shot. It's like, well, he erased one guy, the whole guy. So
Yeah.
obviously, it's always a great feeling as a competitor to be able to say, oh yeah, I erased the entire guy. So we're playing 4-on-5. Um, but I think for you, that's not just your where your competitiveness comes from, but I think
Mm-hmm.
where I found out you play esports and all that was kind of an accident, because I've with the pandemic I stopped getting on Facebook, focus on the grind and stuff. So I would post very infrequently, but every now and then something so everyone knows I'm still alive. And you happen to see that I posted a video where someone made on NBA 2K a
Yeah.
1-inch Stephen Curry. And
Yeah.
out of nowhere, you texted me about that. I'm sitting there thinking, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah. Big
Um,
fan of 2K.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I found out that you're a big fan of 2K as an esport. You also play
Mm-hmm.
Rocket League.
Yeah.
So how'd you go from here are fun games to I want to play and win?
Uh, okay, so I guess I've always had the I want to play a win mentality because like I've always played like the video game against like my brothers and stuff. And since
Yeah.
I was a little kid, like I remember like starting with the PS2 and like playing the soccer games. I think it was like PES and FIFA. But like yeah, ever since then I've just always been competitive on video games. Like when I lose, I'd always like rage and just like why I want to win, I want to win, I want to win. But like now it's a little more controlled. Like now I'm like okay, I do that. I gotta do this to get better so I can win. But like yeah, I just playing the game and just like I don't know, kind of having fun with it, but at the same time, like I try to like make myself a little better than average or a lot more better than average if I can. So yeah, that's kind of where that came from. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and we talked about the concept of hero days and 0 days.
it,
More focusing on not having 0 days, doing at least one thing each day, even if that means that day being intentional about I'm gonna rest, as
mm-hmm,
opposed to, oh, I rested today, but that's because I just put things off. It's saying, no, no, no. If
mm-hmm,
I'm not doing anything productive in the outward sense, it's because I decided today's my off day. I'm gonna
yeah,
rest and recover. Just like how
yeah,
LeBron spends millions every year on his body to make sure that he's in peak prime condition all the time.
yeah,
Stephen Curry, his goal is no matter what, no matter when, he is always within 2 weeks of being NBA Finals ready. Which, if you think about being NBA ready, is one thing, and then Finals ready.
yeah, that's
To
another
say
thing.
I got 2 weeks, I'll be back at that point. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Um, but I think from there, like you said, being a competitor, losing is part of the game, and
mm-hmm,
learning to be a good sportsman, just being able to say, all right, you know what? If I win or I lose, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go and say, hey, good game. I'm going to shake their hands. And then I'm going to celebrate with my teammates. Or we get back in the film room, watch film. Or I don't know if you do that in high school yet.
mm-hmm.
Uh, but, just kind of going back and saying, all right, how do we win next time? How do we do better?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess for with all this stuff, clearly you care about all these things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it is also because you care about your teammates, your friends, those around you. Um, would you say, other than yourself, who else would you say, your brother, uh, your family, who else would you say has been a big part of you being able to say, hey, I care about others?
Um, I feel like there's like nobody else that I could say apart from my mom because like my mom is like a person who would like even though you may not like give her the same energy she gives you, she still tries to give it her all and like do the best she can. Like she like her like her mom says a thing about her where like the only reason she wouldn't give you something is if she doesn't have that thing. If she has that thing, she'll try her best to give it to you. So like, and I'm the last born, so like I spent like literally my whole year like with her. Like everybody calls me her handbag or whatever. But like, I've just like spent my whole life with her. So like all of her traits and like all the things she's done, it's kind of like rubbed up on me and like reflected on me. So like just do that. I'm just kind of like been able to like, okay, yeah, this is how I should treat people and this is how I should go about like engaging with people and like making relationships with people and stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. All right. So clearly you have a lot to thank, for your mom, your
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
I guess, to close out, is there anyone else you'd like to thank in your life?
Uh, I like to thank my friends, obviously, and like the people. I like to thank my haters, people that doubt me, because like I feel like without you can't be motivated. I mean, you can, but like I feel like with other people who like doubt you, I feel like you can just motivate. It's like motivating to like prove them wrong and stuff like that. But obviously, like you said, they got to thank myself. I do thank myself for like putting the effort and like striving through everything. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I got to thank my family, myself, my friends, and my haters. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that at the least me and you have really learned a lot from our role models. Basketball has been a big
Mm-hmm.
part of it. Really learning to embrace and just drink the haterade.
Yeah. Yep.
Gatorade fuels you physically, haterade fuels you spiritually, and obviously,
Yep.
making sure to get a good dose of teammates and friends, and
Yeah. For
getting
sure.
roasted by Kobe. Um, you know, yeah, and I think you know obviously for a lot of students who might be looking at you thinking, Man, he's doing all that. How am I going to do that? What would you like to tell
Gotta
them?
start from somewhere. Just like I said, just baby steps. Like don't. I mean, push your limits, but at the same time, like being a place where like you're comfortable in. Like I'm not saying like stay comfortable and like don't try to like get out your comfort zone and do better, but like just start from somewhere. It all starts from somewhere. Like and gradually like you'd want to do it more and more. Like there's this video I watched where like people base motivation off of action, but like the action is based off of motivation, if that makes sense. So like you don't get motivation by just sitting there and trying to get motivation. You get motivation by first starting off what you want to do, what you're doing. Like for example, you're going to do an essay. You don't just sit there and look for motivation to write the essay. You start writing the essay, and through writing that essay, you get the motivation to continue and finish writing the essay. So like just do that. Just like start off doing something, just continue to get to where you want to be. And like to be honest, just stay hungry, man. Stay hungry. Never be
Yeah,
satisfied.
it's a bit of getting into that mindset. And yeah, I think definitely for anyone who's thinking, oh, well, how do I get in the mindset? It does take practice.
Yeah, for sure.
It does take time and effort. And, at least for me, I've gotten to the point where if I need to get stuff done, I can just flip a switch and just right there, I just go. But obviously, it took me a while to be able to do that,
Yeah,
to
for
develop
sure.
that ability. So, definitely, like you said, baby steps. Don't worry about doing it right away. Just build up now. Start building up to where you want to be, what you want to become, and yeah, wise words from a wise man. So, all right, I guess you want to leave everyone with any last words?
Yeah. Like I said, baby steps, and also like don't take people's words like take it with a grain of salt. Like don't compare yourself to other people. Don't try to be like someone. Well, try to aspire to be like someone, but don't like if you're not able to get there, just be yourself and just keep trying to do what you want to do. Like don't compare yourself to anybody. Like don't push yourself down a pedestal just because you think you can't become a person. Like just keep driving and you get there eventually. It just takes time, patience too.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right. Well, thank you again, Dooney, for joining us.
no problem, no problem.
This is it's great to hear about why you care about others. How them caring about you has led to where you are today.
Mm-hmm.
And we do need to get back to FHS hacks.
Yes, we
So
do. And I'll be
we will
posting
leave
pop up.
some information in the video description below. Anyone that wants to reach out to you, if they want to find out about color hacks, register. Obviously, like you've told me, anyone who builds something for FHS hacks, they're welcome to extend that project and submit that again. You have no problem with that. In fact, you would encourage that growth factor. So everyone who wants to do that, feel free, hop in, sign up for color hacks, and we will see you around.
All right, guys.